Have you ever met someone who always puts themselves at the center, who never admits mistakes, and somehow always manages to make you feel guilty? At first, they may look charming, confident, and even fascinating. But as time passes, a pattern of lack of empathy, constant need for admiration, and emotional manipulation starts to appear. In this video, we will explore what narcissism really means, the hidden signs you should watch out for, why relationships with narcissists often feel like a trap, and most importantly, how to protect yourself. What is narcissism? In psychology, narcissism is defined by three main features: a sense of grandiosity, an excessive need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. When these traits are strong and consistent enough to damage someone's relationships in daily life, we call it narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. It's important to remember that a little bit of narcissism exists in everyone. Being proud of your success or enjoying recognition is normal. The problem begins when this turns into entitlement, superiority, and using others only as tools. Two faces of narcissism: grandiose and vulnerable. Not all narcissists look the same. Grandiose narcissists are loud, confident, and always showing off. They crave admiration and want to be seen as superior. Vulnerable narcissists are more hidden. They look insecure, sensitive to criticism, and often feel shame or inadequacy, but still show entitlement and lack of empathy. These two faces can even switch back and forth in the same person. Red flags and early signs. Here are some of the most common warning signs. 1. Constant need for admiration. They want endless praise, believe they are special, and think the rules don't apply to them. 2. Lack of empathy. Your feelings are minimized, dismissed, or even mocked. 3. No tolerance for criticism. They cannot admit mistakes. Even gentle feedback feels like an attack, so they shift blame and deny responsibility. 4. Manipulation patterns. Love bombing, overwhelming attention and affection at first, followed by devaluation, criticism, coldness, and belittling. Sometimes hoovering, pulling you back in just when you try to leave. 5. Violation of boundaries. Your time, energy, and efforts are taken for granted. 6. Jealousy and competition. Your achievements make them uncomfortable instead of proud. Why do relationships feel like a roller coaster? At the beginning, narcissistic traits can look like confidence and charisma. They might shower you with compliments, talk about a bright future, or act as if you're soulmates. But this is often the idealization stage. Once reality sets in, when you say no or give feedback, the cycle shifts into devaluation, criticism, emotional distance, or silent treatment. In some cases, it ends with sudden discard, followed later by hoovering when they try to pull you back again. This exhausting cycle can repeat over and over. Why don't narcissists admit mistakes? There are two main reasons. Fragile self-esteem. Criticism feels like an attack on their entire identity, so denial and defensiveness become automatic. Sense of entitlement. If they see themselves as superior, admitting mistakes feels humiliating. That's why they often twist the story. You misunderstood, it wasn't my fault, or it's because of you. Clinical diagnosis versus everyday label. One important reminder: talking about narcissistic traits doesn't mean we should casually diagnose people. A clinical diagnosis of NPD can only be made by a qualified professional after observing a long-term and consistent pattern. Still, even without a formal diagnosis, narcissistic traits can be very damaging in personal relationships. How to protect yourself. Set clear boundaries. Be polite but firm. I only have this much time. If you speak to me like this, I won't continue the conversation. Stay concrete and clear. Keep records, use clear words. Don't let them twist your reality. Avoid endless arguing. Don't fall into the trap of justifying, defending, or explaining yourself over and over. The gray rock technique: give neutral, boring, short answers. Don't feed the drama. But be careful. In abusive or dangerous situations, professional help and safety planning are essential. Seek support. Talk to friends, build a support network, and when needed, get professional therapy to rebuild self-esteem and emotional strength. Why is it so hard to leave a narcissist? Many people want to walk away from a narcissistic partner or friend, but somehow they can't. There are several psychological reasons behind this. The first is the cycle of reward and withdrawal. At the beginning of the relationship, the intense attention, admiration, and affection create a strong emotional high. When that warmth suddenly disappears, the person longs to get it back. This hope that things will be like before keeps them stuck in the cycle, very similar to an addiction. The second reason is the trap of guilt and misplaced empathy. Since narcissists rarely admit their mistakes, they shift the blame onto others. As a result, their partner often feels guilty. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I overreacted. This distorted thinking makes it harder to break free. The third reason is the fear of loneliness. Especially in long relationships, people believe that leaving will leave them with a huge emptiness. In reality, what they are losing is not love or security, but a constant source of criticism and manipulation. This is why breaking free from a narcissist can be so difficult. But remember, real freedom comes when you have the courage to step away from what consistently makes you feel unworthy. To sum up, recognizing narcissists is not just about labeling others. It's about protecting your own mental health. One of the most common feelings in these relationships is the constant sense of not being enough and carrying false guilt. But remember, this guilt is not yours to carry. The lack of empathy, the denial of mistakes, and the manipulative behavior of another person do not define your worth. A narcissist can sometimes persuade you, deceive you, or even charm you. But your true value is measured not by their words, but by your own inner voice. If you constantly feel drained, broken, and unworthy in a relationship, that is already a powerful signal. Taking small steps to protect yourself, setting boundaries, saying no, walking away when necessary, are not signs of weakness, but of courage. And remember, sometimes the most healing decision is not trying to change the other person, but choosing your own freedom. What about you? Have you ever dealt with someone you suspect was a narcissist? Share your experiences in the comments. Your story might give strength to others who are struggling. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Always remember, understanding your own mind is your greatest strength. It's never too late to protect yourself, to recognize your worth, and to choose your freedom.